I believe we're live now. Turn the music down some. Okay, thanks for the warning. I fixed some things on my end, so hopefully it won't tax the internet nearly as bad as it has in the past. Hey, look at that. I'm really low down. You would think I would have checked that before starting, but nope. There we go. Oh, I didn't mute myself. Oh well. Hopefully the audio is working okay. Camera looks good. All right. Hopefully the internet works out pretty good here because the wind is blowing like crazy. There's a good chance that we could have some internet problems because of that. But we will see. We'll trudge through it no matter what. All right. So I'll just get started here. So today my plan is just going to be to learn how to make a Twitch bot. There's a little bit to it. I did some playing around, some testing and stuff like that. I'm hoping to get some attention. People maybe coming in and trying out commands in the chat. But if not, I can test it myself. It'd be fine. It'd be fun. Let's see. Let me double check real quick and make sure that I have. You should be able to see Twitch emotes. Yeah, Mom was telling me about that just a few minutes ago. Let's go to my dashboard here. No, Stream Manager. That's what I was going to go to. I should be able to do something like that and it show up. Yeah. Okay. So it shows up in the chat like that. There's also commands, things you can do like exclamation mark help. Oh, hey. I have a bot that watches for me streaming Link to the Past and then puts it out there. And just to double check, let me make sure. Okay, yeah, it's titled properly. What's the audio level like? Is the music too loud? Am I too loud? actually shut this down. That should help. Okay. All right. So, Brent. Good old Brent. How awesome is that? All right. So, this is actually something that you might know something about, Brent. The Twitch chat actually runs off of IRC. And if we go over and look at, I've got this pulled up here. Oh, cool. The chat, you can't read it on the stream now, but that's okay. Yeah, so really all the Twitch chat is just an IRC chat room, specifically with the login information and everything. Now, every bot runs as cool. Well, if you can hear, that's fine. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess you would have to log in before you can chat. But yeah, so it's just like a regular IRC room, and so every bot has to be logged in as an IRC user, or in this case, as a Twitch user. And so what I'm going to do is ignore the cat if you can hear him. What I'm going to do is create a bot that's going to run as me. So if somebody issues a command or something like that, it will respond as if I'm the one typing. It'll come from my Twitch account. It'll only exist in my channel, only in my room, and but it could be added to other ones. This is how you see things like Nightbot or any other number of bots. When you set it up, that bot is a Twitch account. So Nightbot has its own Twitch account. It's logged in as Nightbot, or whatever bot name. Streamlabs has its own bot and everything as well. It uses that, and then when you configure it, you're telling it, okay, monitor my channel and respond to anything. So at any one point, a bot could be, monitoring, hundreds of channels and working that way. Nothing AI yet, maybe at some point. Right now, I'm just going to play around and just learn how this thing works. Just kind of starting off. So there's a couple of things here that I'm going to obfuscate. Things like the OAuth token. I don't want to share that with the world because then anyone could log in with my Twitch account. Okay, what's your suggestion? Also, there's a couple of ways to do this. I'm going to run this locally on my own system for two reasons. One, I don't have to deal with hosting files anywhere, and then two, I can control I can control the system from there. Oh, like that would be a fun little endless loop. But you could totally do that, and that's one of the beauties that I'm looking at here is with a bot running locally. I could actually control something on my PC or even an Arduino connected to my PC or to my local network. So I can have a bot listening in my channel. Somebody posts a command and it will turn my bedroom light on or off or whatever. I'm at this point, I know what I can do and I know how I can do it. and I welcome all suggestions on ideas. Yeah. That's one of the things you have to watch out for too is, if you take commands from the users, you have to make sure that something's not going to, they're not going to do some type of injection of something. Now, luckily, I'm going to be using Node.js. I do web development, and JavaScript is part of what I do. So, I went from working all day programming to programming for fun on my stream. So that should be kind of fun. So I'm going to get started here. I've already got a setup going with Node.js and can't see my chat. Anyway, I already have Node.js set up as well as Visual Studio Code, and I've used those for a while, so I'm comfortable with them and how they're set up. I'm not going to go into how to set that up to get this to work, because honestly, there's about 5 different ways to do it, and my setup may not be anything like, what you want to end up using. Grabbing the text from what, like Pandora? Is that what you mean? Because it's Node, I mean, you can do anything. It's kind of cool, actually, the way it works. So I'll go ahead and start it up. I have a folder already created. I just called it FreakBot. And I'm going to just open with code right here. This is going to give me everything that I need to get started. So, oh, you don't even use an API. Well, okay. You use an API to authenticate. Actually, there's a library that you use. I'm not exactly sure what that library does in the back end, but all it does is connect via IRC and then reads every message that comes in, and then you parse it however you see fit. Pretty much, if you've ever played around with an IRC bot, either using one or making one, then it's no different. It's exactly the same. So, okay. So first things first, I'm going to npm init, and we're going to give it a name of just the folder name FreakBot. We're going to make this version 0.0.1 for now, and we'll increment that as we go. And we'll make it index.js. We're not going to write any tests because I like to live dangerously. I'm not sure what you mean exactly. We'll fill in the Git repository later. Keywords, leave that alone. And the default license is fine. So that initializes an NPM project. Straightforward. Like I said, I've used NPM for a while, so this is what I'm comfortable with. Right. All right, so I'm going to do something here. Let me see. Okay, so there are a couple of dependencies that I'm going to need for this. What's cool is this actually gives you everything you need to get started. Just this, to run locally. There's an option to host the file on Glitch. I will look into that eventually, but for now, I don't really care to host it online. Like I said, I like the option, the ability for it to like affect something locally. So, for example, if anyone's ever seen Games Done Quick Marathon, they're playing the Super Nintendo, and chat donates to be able to take. So you've got the controls over here are up, down, left, right, and then over here these buttons kind of do the same thing: up, down, left, right, or reverse, whatever. And what they did is with a donation, it causes the controls of the game to flip. So then to go up, you have to use this button over here, and to like swing your sword, you have to use the down of the controller. That already exists, so I can do things that already exist. That's not a problem. I'm going to be doing something that already exists anyway, so that's neither here nor there. But the main thing is that like possibilities are pretty much endless. Like I could pull from some web API and affect. I could have it to where somebody posts a command to the chat and it takes a screenshot and then posts that to Twitter, or or maybe this is where my creativity is tapped out, and I'm hoping for some ideas. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to follow along with what this has here. I'm going to install tmi. That is the tmi.js. That's the library for the Twitch messaging interface. I believe it's what it's called. So, and let's see, do they want it? Okay, yeah. So that's going to go out and grab modules. Oh, that was fast. I'm used to NPM taking a lot longer for things. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create that index.js file. Now they have a basically the shell of a bot here, but I'm going to actually do this by hand. When I'm doing something new, I don't like to just copy and paste a whole bunch of code and then throw it in. I like to type it out for two reasons. One, it helps me to retain things, and then also if there's a problem with it, I can find that, and I can deal with that. So let me squeeze that over to the side there, squeeze that over to the other side. Okay. So, and I thought about doing this in TypeScript instead of just pure JavaScript, but or Node, but I figured I'm not as strong in TypeScript as I want to be yet, so I will wait until later to do that one. So the first thing we do is we want to bring in the package tmi. Now this is an interesting thing here. We're going to define the options of the user that's going to be that the bot is going to be running as well as the channel and the authentication. Node is a non-blocking model. but it is still single-threaded. So it relies on promises to operate, which is kind of nice because it's kind of nice and kind of not. It can be kind of a pain to debug sometimes, and then every now and then you get that, where you dump a variable or you're debugging or something, and you're like, why is it undefined? Oh, because it takes a split second for this thing to happen, and when I printed it out, it was undefined. It was defined a few seconds later, but at that moment, it was undefined. So this is the part where we're going to hard code and make this running as me originally, and then later on, this part, these options are going to change to make it to where you can log in. So, for example, a user can log in and authenticate with their Twitch account. It will save the OAuth token and then will log in as them going forward, because I'm going to have to do something here to get my OAuth token that the normal user probably isn't going to want to do. They're not used to these types of inconvenient things. No, I don't have, well, I have like a moderation bot active, but this bot right here, I'm writing currently. The one I was playing around with the other day, yesterday, I think it was, isn't active. I'm going to rewrite it from scratch here. So, all right, so we're going to put in the identity, and there's probably more options to this that I just don't know. The username, oh yeah, this is where, okay, it's expecting the bot username, and what I'm going to do, yeah, that's actually what I was getting at. What I'm going to do is there's actually another package I need to install. npm install .env, and what this does is it lets me create a .env file that has these things in it that I can then pull in. So, for example, for the username, instead of typing, like that, or with quotes or whatever, what I'm going to do is actually require .env, pull in the config, and then the username is going to be in a .env file. So, and that package that I just installed, the .env, all that does is looks for a .env file, and then pulls in that and sets it as if an environment variable would be set. So, for example, and this is just like an INI file. So. So these are the items up above here that it says we're going to need: bot username, channel name, which is going to be the same as my username, and then OAuth token. And I'm going to leave that blank for now because I'm going to show you how this works, and then I will plug in my OAuth token off screen and pull it in and never show the contents of this file ever again. Hopefully. I've been known to possibly do that from time to time. So yeah, so what this does basically is if you were to run this application on, like, say, a virtual machine on another server, as maybe a Docker container or on AWS or something like that, one of the things you can do as part of the spin up process is set these variables using, like, AWS has a way to set environment variables within the configuration. So within their configuration window, that way when you're deploying virtual machines, none of that is ever saved in the code or in what you upload. And actually, That's what I'm going to do right now is go ahead and create my .getignore file. And the first thing I want to put in there is .env, just to make sure that I don't mess up and include that file in there. And then we'll include node modules folder. I think I got the format of that wrong. It doesn't matter right now because I haven't created the Git instance yet. So anyway, here we go. Let's. So I'm going to now plug in the username, which is in that env file. It's going to be process.env.bot. Username. We'll do the same thing for. It's kind of a misnomer. It says password. Technically, you're using the OAuth token. And then we're going to tell it what channels we want to join. And this is kind of cool. You can actually put in more than one channel if you really wanted to. And this, like I said, where some people would put in the ability to update this, to change this. And of course, if you do that, then this, process or environment variable is not the way to go about doing it. All right, cool. So with that, I love that. Yes, please insert your username, password, PIN number, social security number, and anything else that you have. So just to show that this is, and test that this is actually working right, I want to do a console.log of the ops data structure here. And then we're just going to node index.js and run it. And you can see right there, it's pulled in the items from the .env file. Username, password, and channel. Cool. All right, so let's get rid of that because we don't want that anymore. And now we're going to invoke that library, the TMI library, to create a client. And pass in those options. You could pass the options in just as an object and not create the object here. I like to do that for testing. Like I just did, I was able to spit out the contents of that to the console so I can check to make sure that things were working right. All right, so, and I'm going to ignore and leave out the comments because I'm typing this in. I know what these things are for, so things like registrar event handlers. I mean, that's telling us exactly what it is. And this is another one of those where you could do it as, like, say, that, and then do your, stuff. You could do something like that. But I actually like doing that, but sometimes it's easier to change things out. If you want to try out another function and then just drop it into place with this. So pass the function name, which doesn't exist yet. We'll create that later. And then Okay. So all that does is when a message comes in, it's going to call that function on message handler. When a connection is established, it's going to call that one as well. All right. So let's go ahead and client.connect. And that, as long as we have our OAuth token created, that will actually connect. Now, we don't have our handlers set up yet, so let's go ahead and do that. So some of these things get passed in as part of the part of the message handler. Message is probably the most important one that we're going to use. Cool, dude. Thanks for checking it out. Appreciate the feedback and the comments. It's been nice to have someone who has any idea what I'm doing. Take it easy, dude. So what we're going to do here is, the message handler. It's going to look to see, okay, is this the bot that sent this message? And if it is, just return. And that's going to be kind of a running thing. If we want to ignore something, we can just return and be done with it. So that one's super simple. But we want to do some more things after that. So in this case, we're going to get the message that came in, and we're going to trim that down. So take any white space off of the edges, off the beginning or end. And then we will do just a simple command name equals dice. And I'm just going to put this in here for now just to make sure it's working, but I've got a couple of other functions I want to plug in later that'll hopefully do some more fun stuff. All right, so I love how this just assumes the normal dice of a d6. It's kind of funny. I don't remember who it was came across this, but they were in class, I want to say, and the teacher mentioned, if you roll a die or dice, as a lot of people like to call it, the singular is die, by the way. If you roll a die, what's the probability of this number coming up? And the student asked, well, what do you mean? How many sides does the die have? And the teacher was kind of dumbfounded. I guess they don't play D&D, but whatever. So in this case, this particular function, the roll dice, is assuming 6 sides. So we're going to get a number from that function, which we'll write later. It's further down. And then I like to separate these out. So this is just going to post back to the chat and say, let's see. Okay, yeah. So I was looking for the channel, and the target is always going to be the channel that this is coming from. So that's kind of interesting too. You could say, for instance, pass a different channel here. I wouldn't recommend that. I don't know if it would actually work or not. I have a feeling that there may be some checking on Twitch's end to make sure that doesn't happen. And then we're going to say you rolled a and then the results of the number. And then, for debugging purposes, console.log. Oh, I see. I put the star in there so it shows up as important. I like to, a lot of times if I'm logging things like this that may run for an extended period of time, especially if it goes unwatched. Let's say, for example, we upload this to a server somewhere to let it run. I would probably put a timestamp at the beginning of this as well, because it should be logging to a file. Most services do that kind of thing, and they don't always include a timestamp when these things are logged, and it really helps to know, like, okay, this is precisely when this happened. All right, so okay, so that's it. When they roll that, or when they use that command dice, it rolls. Otherwise, we're actually going to. This is interesting. We're not going to say anything back to the chat if they put in a command that isn't a command. Instead, we're going to log it to the console along with the command itself. That way we know what command was issued. And we'll see. There's a chance that we may need to update this as well to include in the log the username of who posted it, because that's another thing you always want to keep track of: who said what or who did what. If somebody messes up the server by plugging in some bad data, it's cool to know that the data was there, but we want to know who did it. Okay. So that should be our message handler handled. Yeah. Okay. Now let's make our. I'm going to do this out of order from what they have. Actually, I'm going to do this way out of order. I'm going to actually put the connection handler up top here. I don't like having that come after. Partially because the connection is always going to be first, but also just that's what I like to do. And yeah, I'm gonna be weird about it, but yeah, I'm gonna put that first as well. So the connection handler takes the address that it's connecting to and the port number. And in this case, we're just going to log that it was connecting. Address and port. All right, and I absolutely love the this whole using a backtick instead of quotes to create your strings in JavaScript. I can remember a time when you'd have to, console.log connected to, then you'd have to this, and then colon, and close that, and then that kind of thing. If you want to add a exclamation mark on the end or something like that, it gets messy. Sometimes some people squish these together, some people separate them out. You have to escape special characters and stuff. This, so much cleaner. Anyway, all right. So we have our connection handler, we have our message handler. Let's go ahead and write our roll dice function now. That bothers me. I'm going to make it roll die. You know what? I'm going to put this as a variable with a default of 6. That way, if you just call this function without specifying anything, it makes it 6. But if you do specify more, then it will actually let you. It will take that argument and update sides to be that. And then we will do a random number generator. Which if you're doing this for a game, this might be fine. If you're doing anything other than a game, you definitely need to do way more for randomization, because it's not really that random. You need a seed, you need to reset it, all kinds of things. Random doesn't really mean random with computers, so anything you can do to try to make it random, more random, that's what you should do. This is good for what it is right now. So I believe with all of that, we are ready to go ahead and connect. Oh, not quite. It won't connect yet because I haven't done the OAuth token. So the way you do that is, let me make this full screen. The way you do that is you go to this twitchapps.com/TMI, and you log in with your Twitch account, and it gives you an OAuth token. Treat the OAuth token like a password. So I'm going to drag this to my other screen where hopefully the stream can't see it. And just double checking. Yep, it's off the screen now. So I'm going to click connect. You can't see it, but I just did it. And then I'm going to copy the OAuth token from there. And I'm just closing that window because I don't want to possibly see it again. I'm going to actually open this with Notepad. No, I don't want. Okay. Let's do this. Open with code. Can I pull that out? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm taking my code window off to the other side. I should have tried this first before streaming to see if I could do it like that. Okay. There. All right. So I just plugged in my OAuth code. It was simple. It literally took me logging in and doing that. So that was nothing. So with that all said and done, we're going to just run this application. Let me make sure I'm not spitting out the contents of that ops anymore. Nope. All right. And with that, the bot is now live. So if anyone is in the chat would like to try out the bot, type in exclamation, what was it? Exclamation dice. Oh, that was interesting. It just logged when that restream.io came in. It logged that as a unknown command. But that shouldn't have, because it wasn't a command. It was just a message. So let me double check that I did this right. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm all alone, so I will test it myself. And there we go. In the chat, you can't see it because I have that blocking. There we go. So yeah. So yeah. So it's rolling. It's showing that it's rolling the dice. I rolled a 6. Just rolled a 4. Looks like I have combat advantage, or I'm just higher on the initiative. That's not true. My initiative is super low in real life. Okay, so something else we can add. I don't like that it says you rolled a 6 or you rolled a 4. It's very generic. So let's figure out what we have to do to specify that we want it to talk to a person, to say their name back. So for testing, we will spit out. We'll do a couple of things. When the dice is rolled, we will console.log we'll log the context as well as the message. We'll kill the bot and then run it again. Now you do get a certain number of reconnect, disconnect and reconnect, per minute or something like that. I want to say it's like 400 per minute, or maybe it's like 400 per second. We'll never reach that, so I'm not too worried about that. So the bot's live again. Let's give it a go. And there we go. We got a lot of data it dumped out. Let's take a look at it. Okay, maybe not as much as I thought. So, okay, so the message, this is the message it spit out, which is just exclamation dice. And this is the rest of it. So you can see display name as well as username. Okay. So this is interesting. You can set a display name for yourself in Twitch that is different than your username. Like for example, you see mine, it has the capital F and the capital Z, but my username doesn't. So what we want to do in this case, instead of saying you, okay, first things first, let's get the username. We'll just call it user. And this is going to be context dot display name. But we're going to do something here. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know why it did that. Okay. Just going to double check here. We don't need the message. So let's dump out the context dot display name. Is that because of the hyphen? Does it not like that? No, it doesn't. Do I have to get to it like this? Let's try that, and then context username. Okay, in this case, username doesn't need that, so it'll just be context dot username. Let's comment that out for right now. Kill the bot once again and restart it. Okay, yeah. So that's the way we'll do it. Okay, so it needs to be in brackets because of the character because of the hyphen, and that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually make this a ternary. So if this is equal to nothing, if the display name is not set, which I believe just doesn't have it set. So actually, yeah, if you're still here, can you try the dice command for me? Because I don't think you have a display name set. So I'm curious if it's gonna come back blank like that. I should create another Twitch account to try some of my testing with. The stream might be a little behind too, so okay. So while that's going, I will do it's ternary. So if the context display name is blank, username is going to be context.username. Otherwise, it's going to be context display name. Okay, interesting. What's really interesting is that your username and display name are exactly the same. However, on my follower list, I have you as Liliandrin13. So I wonder what's going on there. Okay. So that should hopefully be what we need to make that happen. So we will replace the word you with the username. User rolled a blank. I'll kill the bot again, restart it. And now this time, there we go. It's now showing who rolled what. All right. Awesome. So yeah, it shows you in the chat actually as just Liliandrin. And it's now showing I'm missing something here. There's no way. No, yeah, it's looking at every word coming in. So let's do this. Let's wrap this. If the command name starts with, is that right? Yeah, if the string starts with that, if it starts with exclamation mark, then we'll process. Otherwise, we'll do nothing. Move that up into there. All right. Restart our bot. Okay. It didn't say anything there. Yeah, I wanted to check something here. Okay. And then if we do, whoops. There we go. Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, so basically we want to watch for anything that starts with an exclamation. Now, that's just the standard. That's what everyone does. Everyone uses that. I'm going to close the blinds here because it's kind of swamping out my camera. I realize I don't have white balance locked or exposure locked. So, all right. Okay. So yeah, so we're getting the username. We're showing the number that they're rolling. Now, what we want to do is we want to take this a little further. So I play D&D, I DM as well. Maybe doing a D&D stream with Twitch chat would be kind of fun to try it sometime at some point. So let's create a bot. Let's modify this one that will let us roll a D6 or a D20 or a D10, a D100. Let's just do that. So I've cheated a little bit here. I actually have some regular expressions that I've already kind of figured out that this is, this is how you match these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in here and else if command name dot match, and this will be a regular expression. Don't need that closing bracket because I've already got it there. So, and I cheated because this took me a while to figure out. I'm not very good with the regular expressions. I also cheated by looking it up online. So there we go. All right. So what this is going to do is it's going to match on anything that's like exclamation mark D, capital or lowercase d, and then a number, and then it'll spit that out. So let's go ahead and create our constant number. This time we're going to roll die, but we're going to pass it. Oh, wait, I missed something. Sorry. Okay. So this will match it, but now we need to actually get the number off of it, because at this point we could do console.log command name. So let's do this. Okay, so restart our bot again. And this might be hard to read. I just realized my text size is fine for me. I hope on the stream it comes across. If not, I can try increasing it, but that's, let me know if you want it larger, and I can try to fix that. So we'll do test, test again. It let me chat, but it didn't give me any messages or anything. So we'll hit dice, and it tells me that I rolled a 3, and it shows that it executed the dice command. Let me take out the the console.logs. I don't need those anymore. Okay. Don't need to worry about restarting it yet. And then let's test the D20. Interesting. It didn't match. Why didn't it match? What am I missing here? Did I not restart it after that last, like I knew. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I added the console log after the last time I saved it. So, okay, great. Oh, it actually is showing me that it didn't even go to Twitch. It was only on Restream. That's interesting. Okay. I'm using Restream.io for streaming to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And the chats are all connected through Restream.io. You can see that. It's actually a bot itself. Like you see it down here. Oh, my mouse isn't showing. Oh, well. Anyway, okay. So, yeah, so we're getting this now coming through. Let's copy the executed command name just for logging purposes, for security later on, if you will. And let's go ahead and I'm going to find out what the number of sides there are in this based on another regular expression. Now, I just copied and pasted the regular expression because to be honest, figured out how to make it work, but there's no way I'll be able to figure it out again to explain it. So, and like I said, I cheated. I pulled some from the internet and then some from, from my own trials and trying out stuff. So, your mileage may vary. So, but I do know this for a fact. You have to put it in between two slashes. We want to escape D, so we want to match the character D. And actually, in this case, we need to do the same thing that we did above, which is capital D, lowercase d. And then we want to get characters after it, like that. Let's see, we don't want... Oh yeah, we don't need to escape the letter D's in this case. That should be it. That gets uppercase or lowercase d, and then anything after it, which in this case, according to the regular expression we have above, should be a number. Should. Now, it's going to actually split it into the D and then the number. So we want to get that. And actually, let's console.log this. We'll console.log the whole thing. Sorry, we'll log the whole thing. Minus that 0 at the beginning, or the 0 at the end. That basically what we're doing is we're splitting it into an array, and we want to get the first, I guess, argument after that array. So we restarted it. Now we'll do a D20. Okay, that went through. Interesting. Okay. So So if we log the sides, I'm not 100% sure I know what's going on there. That pulls out the D. So, okay, so that regular expression is wrong. Oh, I know why. Because that backslash wasn't for it's not for escaping. It actually is. Well, no, maybe it is. Like I said, I'm not very good with regex, so this would be why I struggle with this kind of stuff sometimes. Yeah, see, now it's telling me that that's null. So if we take out the brackets, I've got it. Okay, let's just do this. Yeah, because I was matching on I was yeah, okay. That's what was happening. I was matching on the wrong thing. I'm not exactly sure how to match on the right thing, but we'll leave it for that. To figure out maybe at another time. All I know is that this one works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this, take out that to make it the same as it was. So now the first item in this should be the 20, which will be the sides. And the other thing to note here is that this will probably cause a problem if they put other things after the D20. I mean, well, we can test that. So, all right, so let's say D20, it should spit out that it was a 20. We'll say D6, see is it at 6. Let's just try just D. Unknown command. Okay, right, because it didn't match, because it's not a number. D0. Oh, yes, because it's a number between 1 and 9. That's the important thing. We did in our regular expression here, it's 1 through 9, not 0 through 9, because you can't have a D0. You could technically do a D1 with this, but that's just a random number between 1 and 1. So, if you want to do it, that's fine. But let's do, like, say, D6 space 5. Okay, so it's going to have, that's not going to match the regular expression, so it has to be D followed by a number. So in this case, let's say D1000. There we go. Okay, cool. So with that, we could actually now, we can stop dumping that out, stop logging it, and instead, let's get another die roll. Roll die. We'll pass in the sides. And then let's just copy this. I have to put number in there. So we'll tell it to roll a whatever sided die this time. And this time, let's actually show, we need to put in, we need to tell the user that we did that. Like to have an extra line there. You rolled a blank on a, and in this case, we'll just do command name. And you know what? Let's, for good measure, just copy that up here. Okay. So now, when they roll a die, it should tell them, well, it should roll on a d20, tell them that it rolled on a d20. Rolled a 6 on a d20. Oh. You know what? I realize I don't want the full command. For this one, we'll hard code it on a D6. And this one on a D, and then the sides. Because we've already done the hard work of pulling out the number. We'll just hard code the D and then add the sides to it. Restart our bot, and we do dice. It should tell us that we rolled a 2 on a D6, and if we do D20, zombie rolled a 3 on a D20. Awesome. Cool. So we got a little bit of, useless functionality, but it's functionality nonetheless. It's doing some processing. It's doing some fun stuff. Something else that you can do that I thought would be kind of fun. Where did my screen go? Here we go. Something else you can do is, so for example, I have the time displayed under my photo down here, under my camera. Sometimes I'll have it like if I'm playing Zelda or something like that. It'll be up in the corner up here or something like that. But what if somebody typed in, exclamation time? Let's say this is, we've put this out and somebody asks, hey, I don't want to have my time on there all the time, but I'd like for people to be able to tell what time it is currently. Let's do that. Let's add a time command. So yeah, at this point we're just adding commands willy-nilly to our bot here. So we'll do another else if not is, command name, and this time we'll not rely on fancy regex or anything. Time. We will log that we did that. And then let's go get some time. So, okay, so to get the time, you can do, I'll open a new terminal and just run node here. So what you can do is something like new date object, and that gives you the current date and time. And then you can do other things to kind of format that and have it kind of fancy or whatever. But you could also do like say new date dot now to get, oh wait, yeah, it's just date dot now. That gives you the seconds elapsed since epoch, since I want to say it's January 1st, 1970. That's good for like doing things like comparing time, how long something takes to run. Let's say, for example, you wanted to run a process that is going to take a certain amount of time or whatever. You can do you can save the date.now right now, and then when it's finished, save it again, and then compare the two. You know exactly how many milliseconds, not seconds, sorry, milliseconds since, how many milliseconds in between, and then you can parse that out using different techniques. So for this, we're not going to do anything like that. We're just going to get the date and the time, and we'll spit that out. So let's see. We'll do const current date time equals new date. The date, yeah. Okay. So that gives us current date and time, and then let's just spit that out. We'll say client.say. Oops. Helps to put the target before the comma. And then we'll say for this, it's currently. Let's just spit out current date time. Okay. All right. So now with that, if we restart our bot, and you saw earlier I did time and nothing happened, and now if we do time, it tells me in the console that it executed the time command, and it actually says it's currently Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. It's in 24-hour format, 1753, and actually shows I'm in Mountain Standard Time because I'm in Arizona. So great. I don't think there's anything else I need to do to that. I could format it to spit it out in a nice, clean, whatever format, but I mean, it does what's on the tin. It tells me the time. So, with that, we're going to do one more. I like this idea of storing the time and then seeing how much time has elapsed. So let's do a fun one here. I'm going to do another else if command name equals are we there yet? So okay, so with this, here's my idea. What we're going to do is we're going to get the time right now. In this case, I don't think we want it to be a constant, so we'll say let current timestamp equals date.now. So what that's going to do is get, like I showed before, it's going to get the seconds since the January 1st, 1970. So we'll do, okay, we actually need to store, we need a global variable for this. So we'll put this up in, where should we put it? We'll put this up near the top. Let's say after the client, we'll create a new variable here called there yet time. And by default, we'll set it to 0 so we can check it. Not that, var. So that down here, the first time we come in here, the first time we run this, we'll check it to see if it's been set yet. So there yet time, if there yet time is 0, then we'll say to the client, target no stop asking, exclamation, because why not? And then we will set the there yet time equal to the current timestamp. So now we know when they first asked, are we there yet? Then from there, we actually are going to do an else. So if there yet time is not 0, so if it's been set, that means it's the second time, at least the second time since they've asked. We will say let elapsed time equal, we want it to be the, current timestamp minus the there yet time. Now, okay. So we have a problem here. I'll address that here in a second. We'll then set the there yet time to the current timestamp. Actually, we'll do that after we say to the client, once again, no, stop asking. It's only been, and we'll say elapsed time since you last asked. And then it will set to the current timestamp. That way, when it comes back around, it will reset that timer. And then, oh yeah, we want to. And this is really dumb that we keep adding that in over and over again, but I'm going to do it anyway. So with that, let's restart. Go back to the chat. And this time we'll say, are we there yet? That's weird. Why did it give me the time? Oh. That was from before. Okay. So I asked, are we there yet? It said, no, stop asking, because it was our first time through. So enough time's elapsed. Let's say, are we there yet again? This time, no, stop asking. It's only been 29,084 milliseconds since you last asked. That's not very human readable. So let's do something to make that more human readable. All right, so let's come over to Let me go down below here. Underneath our roll die command, let's create a new function. We'll call this one. Let's see. Sorry, losing my mouse cursor here. So we'll say function millis to let's say hours, minutes, seconds. We'll pass in the millis. Excuse me. Pass in the millis, as in milliseconds. So first things first, we need to get the seconds. So that's going to be the millis divided by 1,000. That gives us, so there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. And then this is where it gets fun. Hours is going to be, we have to do rounding here. So we do math.floor. That's what we were doing with the randomization earlier as well. We'll do the seconds divided by, and I'm cheating here, 3,600. That gives us the number of hours based on the number of seconds. And then based on that, we can get the number of minutes using math.floor. And this is going to be off of the seconds minus hours times 3,600 divided by 60. Okay, so that gives us the seconds, hours, minutes. Yeah, that should be right. And okay, let's do some other fun calculations here. So if the hours is less than 10, we want to make the hours equal to 0. We'll do it. We're adding a 0 to the beginning of the hours if it's less than 10. That way it's always a number there. Do the hours there. Okay, we'll do hours, and then we're going to copy that logic for the minutes and the seconds. All right, that looks about right. Okay, and then we will return. Let's do it as a string. We'll do hours colon minutes colon, oops, not a quote, colon seconds. All right. So then we can take this and plug it into our function up here. I just had to check my stream for a second. Okay. Let's see here, so that the elapsed time will be converted to, oops, I don't want to go all the way to the end. There we go. Okay, so it will convert the elapsed time into a string that has a much easier to read format. So, are we there yet? Nope, stop asking. And then are we there yet again? No, stop asking. It's only been 9.916 seconds since you last asked. I'm going to let this go for a couple of minutes, or a few seconds maybe, and then ask again. It's kind of weird that that came up again like that. Wait, is somebody watching the YouTube stream from my account in the house? Is that what that is? That would be interesting. Okay. So we'll say, are we there yet? No, it's only been 57 seconds. Yeah, so almost a minute since I last asked. So yeah, cool. So that's basically, it's persisting a variable in between commands. So our bot can remember things. Now, there is a way to save that off, let's say to disk, and then reuse it later. Maybe even saving it to like say that the environment variables, on termination of the bot. Let's say when you exit the bot, you can have it save, let's say the last timestamp. That would actually be pretty interesting. So you save the last timestamp, and then when the bot starts up again, let's say 3 days later, if you're doing a stream 3 days later and somebody asks, are we there yet? It could say it's been, 72 hours and so many minutes or whatever. I don't think my math is right there, but you could persist these things across multiple sessions, if you will. So yeah, we got a little functionality in here. Now, granted, this has to be running on my computer before these commands will work in the chat. The only way to make that not the case is to actually throw this up onto a server somewhere. Once again, I'm going to look into that, eventually, and maybe do another stream at that point showing that process. But for the time being, I'm clipping really badly, aren't I? But for the time being, I think I like where this is at. I like what it's doing. I could really expand on this. I could do a lot more with it if I wanted to, which I would like to at some point. So, for example, I could have it reach out to a Raspberry Pi sitting on my local network, using, like accessing a URL, or, I could have it download a file. I saw something else where somebody is able to, well, as an example, let's, I'm actually curious about this. We're getting into territory of something I've not seen at all. Else, if we'll say command name equals emote. Let's console log, and then we'll also console log the context. Let me just do this. So the cool thing here is if I run that, nope, it didn't like that. I didn't take out the extra bracket. if I run this and do emote, and then is it Franker Z? Is that the right emote? Let me. I can never remember the emotes. Bring it up over on my other screen here. It did do it. Emote Franker Z. Oh. Right. Okay. So the chat will show it as long as, yeah. Okay. So this is an interesting bit here. Close out the stream now because I don't want to use up all my bandwidth. So okay. So what's happening now is we'll say starts with there we go. Right. So what this does is it comes in with emotes like this. So if I just did, emote nothing. See, emotes is null. But up here, it actually shows this emote's ID. And I want to say, let me pull up. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for either. Yeah, see, that's expecting a client ID and things like that. There should be a way. Can you do it just by right-clicking on the... Don't tell me it's going to be that easy. So if I go into my chat, I don't want the audio coming back around, so let me mute it here. Copy image address. If I do that and paste it, that's it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I'll show you what I did. It's kind of dumb. So here's my chat, or here's my stream running. Well, that's gonna mess with me. So yeah, it's gonna go on for infinite. So what you do is I can just find an emote that I want here, right click on it, copy image address, open a new tab, paste that, and there it is. And you can actually increase the size by putting like 2, or will it go up to 3? Yeah, let's make it 3. Why not? And you can see this number right here, 65. That corresponds with, where's my code window? There it is. That corresponds to this right here. So if somebody puts in an emote, we could use that URL to then like spit that up on the screen somehow. So let's do that. Let's take that. It probably, yeah, I just realized all this is going to do right now is give us the okay, I have an idea here. Emote URL is going to be what we're looking for. We want, let me paste this before I forget it. Comment it so it won't be a problem. Const emote URL. We'll give it, it's going to be a string that is, it's going to be this. And instead of this number here, it's going to be context dot emotes. 0? Is that how that works? Let's try it. Undefined. Interesting. How is that? What am I missing here? How is that null? Why is that null? It can't be null. I'm sending in a... Oh, would help if I spelled it right. Emotes dot, no, emotes 0. All right. You gotta be kidding me. What am I doing wrong here? So I dumped that. That should be no, that is incorrect. That is that the ID? Oh. What am I doing wrong? What's the documentation for this? Let's go for the latest. Let's see. Not finding context anywhere. What am I missing here? Could it be named something else? And this has been changed. We'll say on message handler. How's that? Let's see. Here we go. Message context. Right. Sorry, I had to check in on something new. I know I'm just doing something really dumb here. I don't want the message. Oh wait. It is on message. Okay. Message event. I just want... Wait a minute. I'm going about this the wrong way. That's a JSON object. Right, so... yeah, so if... Okay, that gives me that object, and I need to denote the first item in the object. This is one of the real problems I have is I know a lot of these things. I don't exactly know the terminology. And did my camera die? Looks like it did. What happened? It did die. Maybe the app stopped. Oh, yep. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and I have a bunch of messages. That's a little bit annoying. I'm using my phone as my camera. So let's see. There we go. Okay. That was weird. Okay. So, so we want to JSON. No, that's I know somebody is going to see this and be screaming at their screen like, dude, this is so easy, and I feel really dumb. See, like, it's called a dictionary in some languages, but key, that's it. JSON key, right. See, it's the key is 65, so I could reference it as .65 or whatever, but I want to get that thing. Is that what I wanted? No, that's not what I want. Oh, duh. I have to convert it to an object and then access the object that way. I feel so dumb. I'll go this way so I can remember. Yeah, so object keys. That'll get the keys of this object. Okay, yeah, and so then I do 0. Okay, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So, let's see, emote ID is what we'll call that. There we go. So yeah. So if I plug that in here, like that, that gives me a URL. And I can then spit that back out to, let's get rid of these. And we'll say client.say. And all I'm doing here is spinning my wheels and making people uncomfortable. No, all I'm doing here is giving the URL back. So in this case, for example, if you wanted to know what the emote URL was for Franker Z, all you have to do is that. and that gives you a URL. When you click on that, there we go. And just to test, let's do, what's another, another emote. See what the current, so this is for Andy's channel, Andy Pog. So let's say emote URL Andy Pog. What does that give us? It gives us that. And there we go. So yeah, we're able to get the URL for, and yeah, that's dumb. What's the point? I can definitely hear you asking. And what is the point? The point is that I can take this now and I can write something else. So for example, I can write a chat overlay, or not a chat, but just an overlay, or I can write a web page or website that calls on this bot, that runs this bot in the background. So the web page itself will be running the bot, and the output of the web page will be, let's say, these emotes falling from top to bottom, and then I could use that as an overlay in OBS on the stream on Twitch here. So if you type, you know, emote Franker Z, then suddenly, you know, down the screen comes Franker Z, and if you get, you know, 200 or 300 people in chat on a crazy live stream doing this, then it'll be raining emotes. So that'd be something fun to kind of play around with. I think I'll save that for another day though, because this is already gone about 2 hours, and I think I accomplished quite a bit here. You know, we have a bot that's running. I just realized the "Are we there yet?" timer isn't currently running, or it didn't store the since the beginning of the bot running. Maybe that's something else we could do. We could throw in, you know, throw that timestamp in when the bot starts originally, so the first time through it doesn't just say no stop asking. It says no stop asking. It's only been X number of minutes since the stream started, or something like that. That's actually a good idea too. And that's another thing. You know, uptime. I believe that's already a thing. Okay, I don't have a bot enabled that does uptime, but I believe you can pull that from the Twitch API. Maybe even it may even be an IRC thing that you can do. But yeah, there's a good starting point here, and the cool thing is using Node.js. You know, this is just a command line program running that connects to the chat, and then listens, you know, for stuff, and then responds to it. There's so many other things that you can possibly do. For example, you know, connect it to, or have this library running from a web page and have it log, you know, visitors to your stream. So when somebody comes in, it automatically, you know, shows a separate web page. Even, you know, a list of, you know, current people viewing, you know, down the side over here or something. You know, that's always a possibility. I don't know, you know, how useful something that might be, but there's so many possibilities that you can do. So if anyone sees this and has an idea and says, hey, I'd really like to be able to have a bot do X, but you don't want to take the time to go through and learn, this stuff. Maybe you're scared that you're going to spin your wheels for half an hour like I did on pulling out the key name of a, of a JSON object. That's something I probably should add in there, is that we need to check to make sure that actually exists before trying to pull it out, because let's try the are we there yet, since you last asked. So so if we do like emote URL law, I don't think that's a thing. Yep, it just caused it to crash. So and it's because because it's undefined, it's null. So let's just add that in there. Emote ID, let's say if context dot emotes let's see. If it is null, then just return. Let's try that. What happened? Did it not like that? That was weird. Emote URL blah. Okay. And then emote URL Franker Z. There we go. That's all we had to do. Yeah. Check that it's null, and then that. One more thing I'm going to do here. I will upload this to my GitHub. So just as a yep. Okay, so git status. So we do a git init, to create a git file for this. It's got the git ignore in it, or to create a git repository. So git ignore, the index.js file that we've been doing here, the package lock file, and the package JSON file. Those are specific node things. The package JSON just means, both of them means that you can clone this repository, run it, and then npm install. It will pull down things, dependencies. So for example, it needs .env and tmi.js. If you were to clone this repository from my GitHub and then run npm install, it will download those dependencies, and then all you have to do is type node space index.json, and you've got this going. Now, you will have to fill in the .env file. Let's see. I will... let's go ahead and create a readme. And this will be Freakbot. This is a simple Twitch chat bot. runs via Node. And I like to actually turn on the, not that, this, so I can see this is a preview of what the GitHub page will actually show. So is it, I forget what it is to make code blocks. There we go. Tab. That's what it likes. Okay. What happened? Let's see. And this is just stupid housekeeping stuff. And then auth token. And then that will be, we'll just put it in both places like that. Oh, okay. We'll do that. Okay. There we go. And that's it. So we will close that up, git status. Everything looks good. Git commit. That's not what that says though. That is a bot. Goofy. Oops. Oh. All right, cool. Oh, wait. That's the wrong email address. It's using my work. Awesome. Let's see. Get okay, it's not going to the problem with this is it's going to have an issue with my GitHub. So I need to, I'm going to be stupid. I'm just going to wipe the .git folder out. Come on. There we go. Okay. Get let's see. Git config, isn't it? I so rarely have to actually set these things up that git set username and email. There we go. Git config -- yeah. So git config global user dot name and then user dot email and that email address is out there for everyone to see, so I don't really care too much. Git init, git add, git commit, okay, and then I will go get log into my GitHub. That's the wrong screen. And that's the wrong page. I can't type today. I think I'm just getting tired here. No, I have to put in a code from my phone. So I'm going to disable my camera for a second while I grab that. I sent it through SMS. Okay. I forgot I had two-factor authentication set up. All right. Camera back. This is so exciting for anyone who happens to tune in, huh? There we go. And I'm going to create a new repository. We'll call this Freakbot. It was all lowercase, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. We'll make it public. That way anyone can feel free to add to it. All right, it now exists up on my GitHub, so git remote, add origin, git at github.com source. Oops, nope. And then git push. Failed to push. Why? There we go. I mastered a main, but I didn't update my system to make that easy. So let's refresh here, and we should now see. There we go. So it's up there. If anyone wants to pull it down, my GitHub, I'll put it in links and stuff like that. Cool. 30 minutes till dinner's ready. Great. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, github.com/wporter82/freak-bot is where you can go to get this. If you want to, try it yourself, play around with it, give it a shot. This is a lot of fun. All you really need is npm or Node.js installed to make this work. You don't need Visual Studio Code. I mean, you can modify these things in, like, say, Notepad. Like, for example, index.js. I could let's say open with choose another app. Why does it always do this? More apps. And there we go. I mean, you could feel free to make the changes that you want in here in Notepad. You don't have to be, a programmer to know how to do this stuff. You could come in here and make some changes if you wanted to, and start using it yourself. I won't support it. I barely know what I'm doing. I wrote this in a little bit of time, but I mean, if somebody wants to play around with this and learn how to do this and is looking for some help, I'll definitely help. But I'm not releasing this as like a fully fledged piece of software or something. It's just something I threw together in about 2.5 hours. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I hope it wasn't too boring or too rambly. I know there at the end when I had some trouble with Git and uploading to GitHub, that was probably not so much fun for people to watch, if anyone happened to be watching. But this has been interesting. I forgot to post on Twitter that I was going live or Facebook. I try to do that. I tend to do that. Maybe I should make a bot do that. Actually, that's a great idea. Have a bot running that automatically notifies Twitter and Facebook when I go live. Maybe that can be something I can do on another stream. Just as soon as I hit start streaming, it tells everyone I'm going live. There's so much that can be done. The people that have the lights, in the background that look better than mine, that have like the blue or purple or whatever like that. You could, have something like that, controllable by chat. And then there's, the other thing that I was looking at was implementing something like Phaser, which is a game library for writing games in JavaScript. You could use that to create an overlay for OBS that is reactive to chat. I saw one last night when I was doing research for a drop. You do in the chat, you do drop space and then an emote, and it drops it picks the emote from that URL that I did, that when you do the emote URL, and it puts a parachute on it, puts the person's username on it, and drops it down onto a target. And if they hit the target, their name goes on the leaderboard, and the top 5 are up there. So there's a lot that can be done, a lot of things I'd like to try, but I'm not really sure if some of these things are even worth doing. But also I don't have that many ideas, so I look to you. If you've got an idea, please let me know. I'd be really, really interested to see what you could come up with. Even if it's something stupid and simple, like for example, Q's, the current world record holder for Legend of Zelda on the Super Nintendo, Master Sword, as well as No Major Glitches. In his chat, he was talking about how annoying it was that the bot names were something like Nightbot or Streambot or something like that. It'd be really cool to be able to, set the name yourself, and that's possible. In the case of this bot right here, all I would have to do is set up a new Twitch account with the name that I want, and then have the bot log in as that account and do it that way. There are so many different things that you can do. I'd be interested to see some other people's ideas. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and that's another thing too, is like when people start following, it'd be kind of cool to have a custom sticker or something float down. There's a way to do your like, for example, on the bottom left there on my screen, it says recent follower Liliandrin 13. When she started following, it would have been really cool to have her Twitch icon, her Twitch logo that she has, just fall down from the screen, down, all the way down. That promotes engagement with the, with chat. And I saw today, even someone just, if there was an emote in the chat at all, it caused the emote to show up on the screen and kind of bounce around for a little bit. I might try to do that just to see if I can. It's already been done before. I don't need to do it, but doesn't mean it wouldn't be a fun little challenge to try. So yeah, that's probably gonna do it for me. Yeah, if you have any suggestions or anything, my Twitter is at FreakZombie3. Go leave me a message there. Send me a tweet. Let me know what you want to see in a bot, or any feedback or anything for this one. Check out if you're a programmer, check out the GitHub in there, and send me a pull request, and add to it if you want. There's all kinds of things that could be done. So yeah, cool. That's going to do it for me. Willow and Jess, thank you guys for coming in the chat and trying things out. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I hope to do something kind of like that again soon. So, till next time, cool. Thanks.